All right, so we're gonna get started. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for joining and not being late birds.
Thanks for having
Yes.
Yes, so welcome. This is Food for Thought powered by the Dinner Party NYC. Food for Thought is our educational component to the Dinner Party NYC. We like to bring resources and information to our small business owners, as well as just anyone in the room that's looking to forward themselves and advance themselves in these times. Tonight, we're doing a class on digital marketing with Shine Small. We have James Vermylen here with us. He's going to introduce himself to you all.
Hey everyone, how you doing? James Vermylen here. Born and raised in New Jersey, long time, moved to the city about 6 years ago, and really excited to be here and share a little bit about marketing and share a little bit more about how Shine Small can potentially work with you guys to help you out. At its core, Shine Small is about 8 months old. Started by a few friends of mine and I, we're all born and raised in New York, and just wanted to do something meaningful that impacted things that mattered to us. And something that we all kind of agreed on was the power of small businesses, whether it was, the deli we grew up going to when we were younger, or, the small sporting goods store, or the guy knew exactly who you were, and just the power that small businesses have in the community, what they do to uplift and unite communities in ways that, large corporations just never will do. The person there, and it really ties the community together in a magical way. And so Shine Small at its core, we try to help small businesses. We provide mentorship in finance and marketing. That could be anything under those wildly vast categories, from financing, inventory costs, budgeting, developing an income statement, helping you secure a small business loan, to marketing, digital marketing, event-based marketing, anything under the sun, influencer marketing, copywriting, social media optimization, anything under the sun there, we will help you with. And then on top of that, we will help provide a micro grant of, at this point, $1,000 to, help you with your objectives. And that can be, there's no strings attached there. If that's putting it away in a piggy bank for a rainy day fund, cool. If that's for, paying some of your wage costs, cool. Or if that's, supporting setting up a newsletter or doing some paid advertising, amazing. Whatever you guys want to do with that money, it's yours. And ultimately, at the end of the day, we're hoping to do something that very similar to what the dinner party's doing, is create a community of small businesses that know each other, can rely on each other, can look to each other for advice, for help, partnerships, and, really uplift each other together. So really happy to be here.
Thank you. Evelyn, do you want to say something? You're on mute.
No, yes. I was just hoping that, I heard what I heard, and I was hoping that there was to be activity in the comments because I think it's really valuable for us to hear about folks who can and who have the resources, who are making it available to small businesses, especially when they have the experience of how small businesses have affected us in our lives. 1000%. We can attest, we are witnesses, Shavante and I, that Shine Small, they truly mean what they say when they want to help, when they want to support, when they want to mentor, and when they want to give monetarily. So they're the real deal. And we're really thankful that that we have James on, one, to talk about Shine Small, but also to lead this introduction to digital marketing. So we hope y'all are tapping it and sharing this stream, because just as much as we are on this line and we're learning about it, it is not our nature to eat alone, like we say at the dinner party. So make sure that you're sharing this stream, this link, share it with somebody right now and let them know that there's some gems ready to be dropped.
Yes. And as Evelyn said, we can attest, we just now had a call the other night, mentoring call, where we were supported with our budget. And so again, definitely tap in. The information will be given at the end of this, leftovers. But without further ado, we are going to run our first poll to test your knowledge for the night. Let's see what you know about digital marketing before we get into our class.
Shavonte, you need me to share it?
Yeah.
Okay. So you are seeing 3 poll questions. We need you to test your knowledge and your competence of digital marketing. Let us know if you can't see it, but you should be all set. We're at 50% participation. We're going to give folks a few more minutes. But there's already some leading answers here. Is that everybody? Gonna give it 20 more seconds. We're waiting on 10%. One more person. They might be at Target or something, or maybe not, but we're gonna give them a few more seconds. And then we're going to end the poll. Thank you, folks, for your participation in today's class. Let's see what the results are. All right, so let me share these results really quickly. Let me know if you can see them. Can you see them? So there's, as far as folks who are confident in digital marketing, none of you are not very confident, so that's good. So we know a little something, so that's really good. As far as what types of marketing, no one is familiar with email marketing. So we see where our strengths lie and where our weaknesses also. A lot of folks scratching their head. It's all right. We're with you. We are here with you. And our third question: what tools do you use to market your products and services? IG is where it is king right now, and customer relationship management is where it is peasant, and that's okay. We will grow and rise together. We will do this together. So thanks for participating, everyone. At the end, we'll also have another poll, so sit tight. Shavonte, take it away.
For feedback. So right now we're going to do a little breakout room. So the Dinner Party NYC is all about networking. Our event that will be held March 30th in Dumbo is all about networking. So we're going to do a few breakout groups. The breakout groups are going to speak to what your biggest challenge in digital marketing is. So I'm going to pair you guys. You're going to have a conversation. Okay. You don't have to come off camera if you don't want to, but you will be speaking tonight for about 3 minutes. And then we're going to come back and get started with class. Does everyone see their class coming up? Just pop into those. So you're not going to go in class?
just when the conversation was getting good.
No, and I was in one too. So I understand and I am sorry. We are going to,
Pivot.
on the timing model as time goes along, but we do want to respect your time and we want to make sure that you get the meat of the night. And so without further ado, we are going to begin the presentation. I hope you guys got something out of those conversations. And one last thing I'll say, if you guys can just put your information in the chat so people can meet you after, follow you on Instagram, however you want people to get in contact with you, throw that down in the chat. And yeah, we're going to get started for the night. You're on mute, James, but take it away when you're ready.
Oh, okay, here we go. All right, so a quick overview. This is going to be fairly high level, and because the reality is you could go into almost a month's worth of talks on any one of these subjects. So I'm going to try to bridge a lot, spark some thoughts, spark some ideas, and then would love to continue that conversation, either at the next dinner party event or just over email, over phone, however, apply for Shine Small, and we can discuss for as long as you want. Some of this stuff may seem a little straightforward and basic, but so bear with me as I breeze through that stuff. But at my core, what I'm going to try to do here is, talk about marketing in a realistic sense, not in a sort of a tangible way, not in the way that you see in textbooks and agenda or in, online resources, but something that's understandable, largely digitally focused, largely organically focused, but then how the digital space has evolved and really bridged into the physical space as well. So without further ado, here's our agenda. At its core, what is marketing? The next most important piece, who is your audience? And then the types of marketing you can be doing to engage with those audiences. And then most importantly, what are you actually doing? What is the content of your marketing? And then if you wrap that all together, you can kind of get to a place of effective marketing. And I'll just, get this out there. I've been marketing now for 5 years across media, events, and it's not a science. There is a bit of an art, a bit of a trial and error component. You can do everything right. You can, have all the data that supports your decisions. You can have the most perfect content imaginable. And sometimes it just doesn't land. But don't let that frustrate you. Marketing is so, so important because that is ultimately how you get your business to grow in the most effective way possible. You telling a story and communicating that out to people and allowing them to run wild with it. So, even if something doesn't work the first time, there's still value there. Take the learnings from that and move forward, but don't ever get discouraged if something doesn't work, because the number of times I've absolutely failed, I can't even begin to account. But so now, what is marketing? According to the American Marketing Association, marketing is the activity, set of institutions and processes for creating, communicating, delivering, and exchanging offerings that have value for customers, clients, partners, and society at large. I don't know about you, but that means absolutely nothing to me. That is a bunch of buzzwords that is totally intangible and just makes no sense. But really at its core, it's much simpler than that. Marketing is any action a business takes to attract an audience to their product or service. That's it. And ultimately, the goal of marketing at its core is for your brand to become known and trusted by your audience. There's so many brands out there. There's so many people making claims. Building awareness and trust is really the core piece that you're trying to do. It's about understanding your consumers' needs and effectively communicating how your business can solve these problems. Great marketing is almost a conversation with the consumer. If you know them, you know how to reach them, where to reach them, it'll feel like you're directly speaking to them and their needs. And that is very, very hard to come by and something that they'll immediately connect with. And so essentially, effective marketing addresses why your brand matters and how your product will improve someone's life. So to get to effective marketing, you really need to cover 3 core things: understanding who your audience is, understanding the types of marketing and the channels that you can market across, and then what you're actually putting in those ads or what you're putting in that content. So who is your audience? Understanding your customer base is absolutely essential, for knowing where to place content organically or paid, where to really put your efforts into how you speak, how to communicate to your audience, what words you should be saying, what, things you should be doing to incentivize them. And the way to effectively capture that understanding is through market research. Now, this is going to be a theme for me here, is that I'm not a big fan of advocating for paid platforms, paid ads. One, I don't understand everyone's budgets, but I know what it can be like to have zero budget, and you need to just do everything organically and grassroots. And to be honest, it can be far more authentic. So that's what I'm going to largely follow here today. So rather than, paying for tons of services and different firms who can do things, there are free strategies to gather your research. And so there's something I call, and some my coworkers call, zero party data, where, first party data, right, is tracking someone's activity and interest and engagement across your site, your social platforms. But zero party data is just getting to your core and asking them directly about their preferences. And so that can come alive in many ways. Polls on social media, an Instagram story poll. Do you like this or that? Surveys on your website. How is your experience? Are you finding products? Surveys in store. I would say surveys can be great. Just keep them short and try to incentivize someone with them. Really reading your reviews, or if you don't have a place to put reviews, asking for them. A positive review is great, but a negative review can teach you so much about what your audience wants, what it feels it's missing from your store experience. And then really researching your audience online, both your current audience, who is coming to your store, and then who you want, your targets. And so I would say it really kind of starts here, right? Is start with big groups and start to identify that. And you can see that who's coming through your store. Ages, is it largely Gen X, millennials, Gen Z? Is it largely female, largely male? Is it people with higher incomes? Is it people with lower incomes? And you can start to make some generalizations without, tons of raw data about how to target them. And then there's thousands of free resources that dive into demographic data, interests of Gen Z, interests of city dwelling Gen Z. It can be very, very, very effective to just spend some time looking at their interests. And then also there are tools that will teach you how to effectively market to specific demographics. And so understanding who your current audience is and who you want to capture as a future audience is absolutely essential for every piece of marketing and branding that you do, because you ultimately, as I said, need to speak to them. So now we can dive into types of marketing. So there's a massive marketing ecosystem here. This doesn't even, honestly, this is probably 2/3 of all the big possible things here. But since we have 30 minutes, I'm going to touch on a handful of organic and, low cost to no cost types of strategies and tactics that you can take. And so many of these pieces here, organic content, email, are really just called content marketing. And at its core, there are 4 types of content marketing: written content, audio, video, and images. The core way content provides value to us as a business is through organic traffic. This is where people discover you on some kind of search platform like Google, YouTube, social media. If they're searching for, healthy foods, they are going to look for you because they have a need, they have a problem, they're aware of that problem, and they're trying to search for solutions. They're looking for you to tell them how to fix the issues in their lives. as opposed to say an ad on one of those platforms, you're interrupting what they're trying to do. I've so often just get pissed off if I'm watching a YouTube video and, right as something great is about to happen, you get hit with an ad. And I can tell you, I'm never buying hefty garbage bags in my life. They ruined my life on SoundCloud. Like, never again. It will never happen. And so rather than annoying people, try to find the people who are looking for you. And so with that piece, I'm going to kind of dive into this first piece of content that really, really is a valuable piece that almost everyone should be doing and can do for free. And that's just blog posts on your website. This is an incredible way to help your business. One, because it helps you engage deeper with your audience. It builds out a community of people who can understand that you're more than a product, but you're a brand. You're providing value. You're helping answer questions about their products, the greater issue at whole. Say you're a health food store, engaging with them about healthy products, healthy lifestyle, getting out and exercising, providing value, and ultimately, allowing them to get to know you better, but establish yourself as an expert in the space that people want to listen to, that people will come back to. And then, really on top of that, content creates brand equity, meaning that your brand becomes more valuable the more helpful stuff you're putting out surrounding your brand. And that does require your content to be good, but that can mean tons of things, whether it's helpful, educational, inspirational, you're providing them with, discovery on things they didn't know about, or just entertaining them. There's tons of ways that you can cut that. Basically, however you think that you have the best, where your skills best lie, you can be doing that. And, the more you help your audience, the more your brand will really gain a reputation as a leader, as an advisor, as a trusted source, confidant. And, the nice thing about blogs is that virtually every website platform has an option for you to build this into your site as a subdomain for free, already built in. When you really focus on it, you can earn audience, build relationships, and ultimately market your products or your service through these posts. And I guess the other main benefit of blogs is search engine optimization. At its core, search engines like Google, Bing, anything, every few weeks, they go across the entire internet, crawling through every single website, looking at how better to serve their search results. And so if you have more content on your site, highlighting those keywords that surround your business, that's going to, in Google's head, say, oh, this site is more valuable. I should put this higher up on my search results. And that's what a search engine optimization is. It allows you to be farther up on Google's, results. Rather than page 85, you're on page 2. And so, really with these blogs, at the end of the day, keywords, images are going to help your site pop up when people are looking for solutions like yours or products like yours faster and easier, and ultimately drive way more traffic to your site, more conversion, and more revenue. I guess a few key tips on blog posts. You really want to stick with one core idea per blog post. Your blogs can range across your areas of interest, topics you want to cover based on your business, but keep each blog post to one real specific subject and, a real arresting headline that grabs their attention. Let's call it 300 to 500 words of copy, some images, and a call to action, pushing them to check out if it relates to how a product can help you, or a product that you provide can help solve the issue that you're discussing, link to that product, go directly there. Make it as easy as possible for them to go from content and absorption and learning and discovery to that product that can solve the problem that they're reading on. So I know this was a big topic of conversation, email marketing, and more specifically, newsletters. So I think that this is one of the most powerful things you can do. Email marketing as a whole is extremely valuable, arguably more valuable than social following. And the reason I say that is, you know, you don't see every single piece of content that someone puts out on social media every day. We follow too many people. There's too many posts. There's too much noise. But if you give someone your email address and consent to them sending you content that pings in their inbox every day or every week, that is much more targeted, that is much more arresting. And with a great headline, you'll have a lot more engagement and click through with your content than you would on social media or, just posting it. So I guess really why I would lean towards newsletters is that it's a smart way to execute email marketing because it's quick hit, it's effective, and it pulls you to your site. So, you really need, in order to do this, I would say a value exchange. When you are asking people to provide their emails, because of how captivating and arresting and getting an email is, you have to incentivize. So, whether that's in store, pushing a discount on your site, having a pop-up, hey, join our newsletter and get 15% off your first purchase. Join our newsletter for the chance to raffle off a gift card. And I'll come to more on giveaways and promotions in a little bit. But once you've captured them, really make sure that you're providing value in these newsletters. You don't want to lose people through uninteresting and insignificant to them content. Going back to solve their problem, explain why you're helpful, and that really will provide value. And that can be a number of discussions, new products coming to your store, new services, updates in the industry, thought pieces, the blogs that you're writing, updates about the community, updates about the industry that you're in at large. You can include social media videos if you want. And then lastly, I would just say, make sure that you are pushing out your newsletter across all platforms. Whether you have social media on a link tree, include that in your link tree. As I said, a pop-up on your site when people go on for the first time or returning users who haven't signed up for it. Having a separate window either at the bottom of your homepage or in your drop-down menu on your home page to sign up for your newsletter. Capturing the email can be so amazing for sending event notices, discounts, things like that, things that matter to them that provide value. And, ultimately it's very easy to do. There's a few costs associated. You'll need an email service provider, someone like a MailChimp, but they have free models too. And you only need to start paying for them specifically, when you have over 1,000 subscribers. So you can get a lot of bang for your buck at no cost, and then a fairly minimal cost as well. Then the other thing I'd say you really need is regular cadence. I wouldn't over inundate necessarily unless you have just so much unbelievable content. But if it's going to be a daily newsletter, which I wouldn't fully recommend, short and sweet, one real main thought, one major announcement. Otherwise, weekly is more than enough. And you can really make it more valuable. But regular cadence is key, because, much like people start, expect their TV show on at a certain time, at a certain hour, people come to expect that the newsletter to show up at the same time on the same day. And throwing people out of their routines is not always the best thing. And if you're just depriving them of something they enjoy, that's certainly not lovely. Then lastly, including strong CTAs in your emails and your signups is incredibly important. If the end goal is to drive traffic to your site, have really arresting, really short, poppy, value add CTAs, short and sweet. And that can take a lot of time to figure out, but once you do, it will really pay. So social media marketing. You know, the other, I'd say, second most valuable type of marketing that you can really do in terms of capturing your captive audience is through social media. You know, email is amazing, but just as well, not nearly as effective is, you know, the ability to share with your entire audience a promotion, an idea, an event, a new product. You know, if you think about it, how many of your regular customers or followers walk into your store on a daily or weekly basis versus how many of them check their Instagrams on a daily basis? The numbers are staggering. So as a way to mass communicate things, it is incredibly powerful. You know, word of mouth is truly, in my opinion, still the most effective form of marketing out there. You know, a friend telling a friend to check something out, I believe trumps everything under the sun. So make it easy for people to do that. You know, make it easy for them to share things with their friends by giving them an entertaining or formative piece of content on social media that they want to share with their friends. You know, whether it makes them laugh or, you know, it's something that solves a problem for them. You can really, really blow up your audience through other people on social media. So with organic, which is what we're really going to be focusing on today, you know, at its core, it's unpaid content generally that you're creating. The flip side of it is that it's generally the best way to nurture that connection you've built with your customers at large scale, as I've been alluding to. Paid is really meant to, you know, target new audience and increase exposure. This can come to life in three ways: targeted ad, boosted posts, or paying for influencer content. And then just a really core definition for any paid advertising on social: CPM, cost per meal. No one calls it that. You'll hear CPM, and that's just the price for 1,000 impressions. And an impression can be a view on an ad, a click on an ad, just any eyeballs on that ad, no matter how much they engage with them. So if you see a $2 CPM in, say, a Google Ads Manager or Facebook Ads Manager, that means that you're going to pay $2 for every 1,000 impressions that you get. And you will be able to build your budget out and say, hey, I only want to spend, you know, $4, then you're only going to get 2,000 impressions. And that's kind of how you build that in. But we're not going to dive too much into that. Beyond that, just core things to know. The nice other thing I would say on these platforms is it allows you to really show who you are. You know, feel free to have fun with it. Show your personality. Don't be shy to, you know, say something that might, you know, rub some people the wrong way, but like, you're not meant to please everyone. Find your niche, find who connects with you, and be yourself, be fun, and, you know, really build a relationship here. And that's I'd say the other beauty of social media marketing is you're able to build that relationship in a very strong way. You know, respond to people's comments. If someone tags you in a story, repost that story. There's that little dopamine kick that people get when they see someone that they tag repost. I'm not sure exactly the psychology there, but it works. It makes people happy. And, you know, I'd say the other power of these platforms is if written word isn't necessarily your forte, which it isn't for many people, you know, video content, vlogging, you know, just day in the life at the store, content of you creating something that has that just satisfactory appeal when you watch someone, say, create a clay pot on a wheel. You know, it allows you to interact in ways that play to your strengths if written isn't exactly the strong suit for you. So we'll run through these pretty quickly. Instagram, you know, at its core is a great way to show content, either videos or photos. If you're targeting a younger audience, which is increasingly getting older as, you know, people Gen X to baby boomers start to join this platform as well, migrating from Facebook. But your core audience, you know, is your teens to your, let's call it mid-20s to early 30s. I'd say the downside here is that, you know, attention span is incredibly short. So you need to catch them quickly with, you know, something very visually appealing, whether it's bright and colorful, really high quality. And then in the advent of TikTok, Instagram has prioritized video. They are desperate to try to compete. And so if engagement on organic content is what you're going for, a healthy mixture of videos with thoughtfully used hashtags can really, really push your brand in a viral sense. I would say that the other kind of tidbit of information that might be interesting is that Instagram values engagement in this order: people saving the post, sending it to their friends, commenting, and then liking. So if you're, say, doing a giveaway or a promotional post on Instagram, value those things over a like, value a save, or send this with 2 of your friends, comment something below, follow us, over just a like or just a comment, because those will ultimately push it even farther beyond your organic audience. Twitter, everyone knows Twitter. But I would say the real power of Twitter comes in how their content is ported over. I would say half the memes I see on Instagram are tweets originally, and then people bring them over to Instagram and they get massive followings there too. But they really, at its core, Twitter is a breeding ground for virality, wittiness, and an ability to, once again, kind of show who you are. Wendy's is one of those funny, weird examples of a massive company that just rips on other brands and makes fun of their fans, on Twitter only. And it's this place where you can really show this side of yourself that maybe people don't expect. TikTok, so the newest player in the game, and one of the most powerful in the way their algorithms work, in the way that a simple dance, a simple recipe can get recreated by millions and viewed hundreds of millions of times, and cause feta cheese, for instance, to be impossible to find in grocery stores for 2 months. The power of TikTok is really insane. And I mean, quite frankly, a little scary, but we can harness that. So, really, this is all about video, right? And it's, picking that visually arresting content you have, whether it's a recipe getting put together, creating your product, something that just is satisfying, something that's informative, inspiring, if it's a cosmetic or clothing, showing how that your product can wrap into a full look, things like that can really just blow up. And so really good ways to kind of capture the TikTok craze and jump on trends is, one, see what's going on that's really big in the overarching TikTok space. What is a massive trend right now? I'm not saying everyone needs to start dancing on TikTok, but I mean, you can if you want, but take the core of that trend and put your spin on it. Take that piece that your competitor is doing that got really great engagement and make it your own. How does that relate to your industry? How does that relate to the products you're making? And, try to tangentially jump on that trend, but just make sure it feels authentic, because, I would say that the more digitally native people are, which is generally the younger they are, the easier they are to smell inauthenticity. And so really just, if it feels like it's you, that's the best way to do it. But the second it feels like it's inauthentic, people will be able to smell that very fast. Now, the one that people don't consider a lot is LinkedIn, and the power for small businesses in a number of senses. It's evolved into so much more than just a place where people talk about new jobs and have their, where they went to school and their job history. It's become a full social network where small businesses and large businesses, CEOs of Fortune 500 companies, someone in the mailroom in their first year out of college or high school is able to interact with each other and provide value. And there is such a power there. You can build community, you can speak to other people, you can make connections with other businesses, you can find mentors. And then just from an educational standpoint, you can learn so much from LinkedIn. You know, there's amazing entrepreneurs, there's amazing marketers, there's amazing small business accountants on there who just push out free content and free education because it helps their brand. But the number of people I follow on LinkedIn and newsletters I get from LinkedIn people that I found there, it's really staggering. It is a wealth of knowledge. And then on top of that, LinkedIn provides so many courses, many of which are free, that dive into nearly every facet of marketing, finance, branding, strategy, you name it, they have it. It's really an amazing platform for you to educate yourself on. But a quick example of, you know, the power of building community and building thought leadership on LinkedIn is Hector Carvajal. You know, he is from the Bronx, and after college, he decided to start a small business coffee roaster company. He supplies coffee shops with ethically sourced and sustainably grown coffee beans. And, you know, he has a very small business that's getting off the ground, but he started engaging on LinkedIn. He started, you know, talking to other people in the space, you know, not just saying, you know, oh, that's hilarious, but providing real value and adding his own thoughts into comments in those LinkedIn posts, engaging with people. And that was eventually allowed him to get picked up by CNBC, Eater.com, you know, for free earned media. And the CNBC video alone had 220,000 views in 1 month. The scale that you can get from, you know, free advertising from these massive media companies should not be discounted at all. And it just comes from reaching out to people, talking about what you've been going through, sharing experiences. Lastly, is Pinterest. So this is also one that has increasingly become insanely important in the business space because of how it inspires people. More and more people use Pinterest for inspiration for products, whether it's food, fashion, beauty, sporting equipment, cars, anything. It has become the destination for people who want to discover and be inspired and learn how to use something, learn what to buy. And so if you sell a product, Pinterest should absolutely, as opposed to a service, Pinterest should absolutely be something that you are using. You know, I would say that it's largely a video-based platform, but you can also take photos and pin them together into videos. So there's a lot of ways that you can really leverage your own creativity and your own content that you've created into these different types of Pinterest things. So just a quick example here. So for in the food and beverage space, especially, you know, 93% of pinners on Pinterest use Pinterest to discover food and beverage products that they actually purchase. And 82% of it use them to basically choose which product if they have a hard time deciding what to do. So you can just see here as a quick few stats, the level of influence that they have over the consumer through organic content. You know, these aren't paid ads. These are just people putting together thoughtfully curated content. So just these are things that I would say are good to just look at in your free time, just some topics on how to do the sort of different video styles. But I'll leave you with this. An idea pin is a new feature on Pinterest. And I would say this is one of the most complete ways across any social media platform that you can tell it a full story, where it allows you to integrate video, imagery, and copy into one cohesive story and idea that lives on your page forever. It doesn't leave like an Instagram story. It will stay on your site or on your page for as long as possible. And so that can be an outfit, a recipe, you know, mental, mindful techniques, yoga, anything under the sun. Your creativity is the only limitation here. Now, moving off of strictly the different social media platforms, we're going to get into some additional tactics. So giveaways and promotions. an incredible way to incentivize consumers to do something that you want them to do or share information for you. So a great way to get email signups, for instance, and you'll want to make these valuable. And so you can layer requirements in, whether that's sign up for your newsletter, social, story, a visit to your store and tag you in it, sign up for a membership program or perks. And, you want to have a 360 awareness campaign here. And so this is the first kind of example of, online, in-store, physical, bridging together and being very important. If you're promoting on social, you should be promoting on your website and you should be promoting in store. But, make this easy. If they're coming in store, put that on put a QR code on, that little marketing material that you create about the promotion, and make it as easy as possible for them just to pull out their phone, click the QR code and sign up. Ease will increase conversion 10 times out of 10. So going to some of these incentives, gift cards are a fantastic one. And the first reason that is because 47% of gift cards don't get spent. They either get lost, they get expire, whatever the reason is. It is a great way to give perceived value without ultimately giving up a ton of free in return. Another one could be a buy one, get one offer, bundling a few products together that make sense in a complementary fashion that they wouldn't other do. If you're partnering with a different business, bundle some of your products and their products together, or their service in your product. And then the key pieces here with your marketing and messaging are scarcity and urgency. So, Venmo, I'm sure most of you saw this. I was everywhere on my social media for a few months. They did a couple of these promotions where they just gave away tons of money, and you don't need to do that, but it's showing the power of what a giveaway can do to, foster your goals. They had 3.5 million views on this one video alone. And they gained about 1 million followers on Instagram in a day. And so you get to urgency, ends 10/7. They posted it on 10/7. So you had to act now. Scarcity, free shipping, first 100 buyers, adding that level of, I need to act on this. There's not a lot of time left. That plays on psychology of fear of missing out. And that is an incredibly powerful tool to convince someone to do something. Is if they want it, but they think they won't get it, they'll act now and they'll act fast. So events. I come from an event background. So I personally believe incredibly strongly in the ability of events to build community, allow you to really engage with the consumer in a deep way, and for them to learn more about your brand in a non-transactional setting at face value. Engage with your brand, engross themselves in what you're about, and make them, fall in love with you, fall in love with your brand. Events can be done at low lift and low cost, grassroots. They're an ability for you to really flex creativity and what activities you're doing. And it also is one of the best ways to collaborate. Collaboration within small businesses is incredibly powerful because you're able to leverage each other's captive audiences. If you both have 15,000 followers, using each other and relying on each other for an event now opens up your audience to 30,000, which obviously that's very basic math, but the power of that going from 15 to 30 at very little effort or cost is so valuable. And so whether that's a complementary business, say you're a coffee shop and you partner with a breakfast cafe or a charity that supports something that aligns with your mission, there's a lot of ways that you can skin it. And then I would say lastly here with events, marketing and promotion is incredibly important just so people show up, right? So you're going to want to cross every form of digital and physical organic posting that you can do. Social posts, obviously, and collaborative posts on Instagram are a great way to leverage each other's audiences and use each other's engagement to push that post further along. Flyers in store and on the street, signage in store, just as many ways that you can let people know is a very strong, it should be done. And so a good example of this would be, Ray's Bar on the Lower East Side and Gotham Burger Social Club. A couple times a year, they bring out a few grills just right onto the sidewalk and they grill up burgers. And this is the line usually around the corner. So something that at face value, they probably already have these grills. They were going to buy these ingredients anyway. There's no cost to set up out here. At no cost, they're able to attract all these people and bring them joy and bring them something that they want for very minimal effort. And so another final example here in the event space would be something that I did when I was at a event marketing agency for Bud Light. We used to do their music festivals, experiences and strategy. And this was at GovBall. And GovBall that year, I think it was 2019, happened to fall around the beginning of Pride Month. And so most people don't know that, but Bud Light has been a partner of GLAAD for 20 years. And they're the only company of their size that partnered with GLAAD continuously for those 20 years. Everyone else during economic downturns, GLAAD was the first one to go for whatever reason. And, we got creative with it. We added different, donation mechanisms to allow consumers to get Bud Light to pay money, like, a money air tunnel. It's stupid, but silly and fun. And it allows people to be free and enjoy themselves. We, put up these tons of these different LGBTQ groups flags, and just a way to show you're welcome. We want you here. You're a part of this community and we want you here. And on top of that, an all LGBTQ lineup. And, it seems like fairly straightforward, not too crazy things, but I did also have a woman in her, mid 30s come up to me after, midway through the show with her wife and say, hey, I just have to tell you, like, I've been around tons of LGBTQ events in my life, but I've never felt welcome. My specific group has never felt as a part of that. And just, something as simple as the flags you have, the embroidery patches that match these different groups, it really makes me feel welcome and seen. It matters to me. And I've always drank Coors, but from now on, I'm going to drink Bud Light. And that really stuck with me because, there's just so much there, so much pent up emotion and wanting to feel included coming out of those words. And so, just these events can really kind of allow you to connect with consumers and show who you are and who your brand is on a much deeper level. So another piece that you can kind of really stick with, I guess, is how you merchandise your store and the marketing you have in it. Once someone steps foot in your store, you hold a lot of power over them. They're captive to you right at that time. Their only focus is you. And much like Apple, I'm not recommending everyone turns their store into an Apple store, but the core thing there is that they're turning it into an experience, not just here's the product, buy product, leave. It's what are you looking for? How can we help you? It's about building that relationship. It's making things accessible, allowing people to hold stuff. It's if it's a consumable product, allowing them to sample it, engaging with them, building that relationship, sparking a conversation while they're engaging with your products allows you to, one, learn about them, but two, it makes them feel like you're building a connection with them. And then lastly, with people having phones, QR codes being so normalized now, you can bridge the in-store experience to an online expansion, whether that's, additional products that you might not have in store, but you have online, or, content showing how you might use this product or ingredient, to inspire. There are limitless opportunities for taking the digital experience and melding it with the in-store to really create a heightened experience for the consumer. So lastly, we have here paid social, which we won't dive in too much. When we share these decks, this deck, there's some links to some great sources on Sprout Social, which is a resource I totally recommend. Tons of free literature and education on here. But the two pieces I'm going to talk about here are targeting and, sort of just the very basics here, where if you have a digital ad, whether it's on Google, Facebook, Instagram, CPMs, they go up the more you target. So when you're building out a group of people that you want to reach, you can say, hey, I want to speak to this age group. I want them to be female. I want them to live in Brooklyn, and I want them to be health conscious. It's going to cost more to target that group than just to target females in Brooklyn. The smaller the size of the market or the targetable market, the more those ads will cost. But I would really recommend going to some of these sources for, a real deep dive into paid. And this is another real piece I would say you can really look at your own. It's sort of a digital marketing ecosystem and sort of the steps that make sense to take. But some of the things we talked about, SEO, content, email marketing, and then social marketing, all wrapped together to create one cohesive ecosystem. So now we move into what you're marketing. So we have the first one, product marketing. And, product marketing, I'd say, are mainly ads, content around a specific product, reviews, discounts, and promotions. And you need some of this because the harsh truth is many people largely only care about what your product or service can do for them. And product marketing answers that. It speaks to your audience needs and shows how your product or service can solve their problems. And then you have brand marketing. An effective brand marketing tells the story of your brand and why it matters to your audience. This is your opportunity to create an authentic connection with the consumer. And the goal is to become known and trusted as the brand that solves your customers' problems. How do you do this? Storytelling and community building. And the importance of that is, today, which almost feels a bit like a contradiction what I was saying, but, for every person who only cares about the problem that you can solve, there's a growing number of people who, really show affinity and loyalty to a brand that makes them feel positive, makes them feel good that they're buying their products. 80% of shoppers use other online sources before buying a product and shop based on values. So diving a bit more into storytelling, through storytelling, brands should look to create and execute authentic narratives that align with their customers' ethos. And, so in order to do that, and create any sense of brand loyalty, focus on your story. How do you align with your ideal customer profile? And what are other people saying about your product or service? And then meet them where they're at. Are your target audience on TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram? Whichever it is, meet them there. And then ultimately, storytelling at its core can even just be simple as answering customers' questions. If they ask you about your product, you just tell them as clearly as possible, hey, this is what we believe in and what we're doing. And that can inspire them. Ultimately, you want to become known and trusted. And the second piece of it is that community building piece. And that can take tons of different forms. So events, like we just discussed, are a great way to build community because it allows them to really understand who you are. And then, being active on social, but not just in your own posts, have conversations with your consumers, being active on other people's platforms. If there's another business that you're friendly with, or, a larger company that aligns with the space you're in, or an influencer who's talking about the space that you're in as well. Similar to what I mentioned with Hector was, you want to be providing value and opening up a sense for conversation for people to know you. Comment on those posts, provide your own insights or opinion, and start that conversation with them. This will provide value and stoke that additional conversation with people who share that interest in what you provide. And it may open up doors to, future professional relationships and collaborations. So, ultimately, what is your brand? Because it's so much more than what you sell. Brand is perception. It is judgment. It is a sentiment, a feeling created by every interaction a consumer has with your business. And only experiences can change the perception of a brand in the mind of a customer. Brands have to deliver an amazing customer experience, not just in the products we sell or the features that we have, but in the way we behave, in the way our employees treat the customer in the store. And the sum total of all those experiences, that's what creates a brand. And that's what marketing really can do. It helps build that brand through great experiences, events, content, and the customer experience when they interact with you. And so this is Charles Miller. He's someone who talks about marketing a lot, and he wrote this tweet that I just thought really, really resonated. Rolex sells status, not watches. Supreme sells scarcity. Harley Davidson doesn't sell motorcycles. They sell a lifestyle. Apple sells simplicity and style, not electronics. Great marketing creates feelings, not products. It's about making someone feel something. And a good, fun little other one is Chilean sea bass. Everyone knows that as a fancy high-end fish that costs a lot of money at restaurants, is a luxury. But 20 years ago, it was called an Antarctic toothfish, and nobody wanted it because who the hell wants to eat a toothfish? So it's all about the feeling that you create, whether it's status, luxury, Chilean sea bass, or simplicity or happiness. That's what branding does. And so to just kind of summarize here are two great examples of creating feeling through branding. ASOS during COVID, they created a campaign for, people whose weddings had to be canceled. And they gave them a care package as a pick-me-up. People nominated their friends who this happened to, and they reached out and surprised and delighted them. So think about putting yourselves in these positions, and how this may make you feel. If it's your wedding day, to some, it's the most important day of your life. It has to be canceled because something totally out of your control, or a group of people who haven't really hurt anyone, who've never felt accepted, and who don't feel like they have a community or they feel welcome into popular culture. What do those two things have in common? It's through your branding and marketing and messaging, you've authentically connected with a consumer's lived experience, the challenge they're experiencing. We make them feel heard, and then you provide a solution and a moment of brevity. You made them feel good by showing what the brand cares for and that they care for you. So wrapping that all together, you can start to figure out how to effectively market. And a good way to kind of look at that is through a SWOT analysis. And so at its very core, it's looking at your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So I like to usually focus on the strengths and opportunities. So what are you good at? Are you great at writing? Are you great on video? Do you make funny jokes? And how do you want to engage? Are you effective at brand marketing, product marketing? And then based on those strengths, look at your opportunities. Where are your target audience? Where are they activating? Where are they engaging? Where are they consuming content? Take advantage of those opportunities and apply those strengths there. So, really to, summarize here, and I know I've been going on, I think, a little longer than I was supposed to, so I apologize. Based on your existing and target consumers, develop content that connects to target their beliefs and interests or addresses a problem they have, and post where they spend time. And so here's a few just tips from another LinkedIn-based marketing professional. And I'll let people read through these on their own time, but the key pieces here is focus on the customer and focusing on delivering them the best experience possible. Mistakes can be valuable learning experiences, so embrace that. And also on that note, embrace negative feedback because the insights can be more valuable than positive feedback. Spend less on advertising. Engaging content, useful content that people want to share with others will do so much more for you than, ads. Don't try to be everything to everyone. Find your niche, find your target market, find the people that you can serve best and focus at being the best at serving their needs, because you don't need to be the biggest. Be different, stand out. That authenticity will grab people's attention. Prioritize customer service, which will create loyalty. Ask for help, collaboration, mentors, professionals. Shine small. There's tons of resources out there if you find the right avenues to ask, and take risks. And then finally, be yourself. So here's another list of really strong free resources that you can really dive into tactical ways of doing some of the things I was discussing. What I was really going for was, the higher level way of how you should be positioning yourself to begin to develop that marketing plan and the ways that you can do it. So with that, I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, James. We did go over time, but we're very thankful for all of the food that you just gave us. It was
a lot of meals.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a lot.
No, but listen, good information is good information. If you're committed,
Absolutely.
dedicated to building and growing your brand, this is exactly what we need. So again, we thank you.
Right.
I do want to respect everyone's time. We have one poll, only 3 questions, and the Q&A left. Please, if you cannot stay, feel free to sign off, but we are going to continue with the polls and the Q&A section, give you guys a few informations on our upcoming events, and bid you farewell. So
sit tight, don't leave yet. I'm going to share our closing poll. This feedback is vital to us, so please take this poll launching now.
Yes, you will be receiving leftovers in email, which will include the slides and ways to get in contact with Shine Small so you guys can apply for that micro grant.
Yes.
A mentorship call. Trust me, you want to do it. It's very, very important that you secure the coin.
All right, 30 seconds in and over half of y'all have participated already. Y'all awake. I love it. I love it. We're at 40 seconds. We're gonna give them 90 seconds like we did in the beginning. But no, James, there was plenty on the table. They were side dishes, they were main dishes, centerpieces. This was great. No, this was really great. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for this deck that there's much to study on it. And this is what we love to see. So we appreciate you.
Yes.
So we're gonna make room. I did see the questions in the chat, so we organized them to make sure that they all get answered. I'm going to end the poll. Thanks for everyone who participated, and let's just see really quickly. 10 out of 10 learned something from this class. So James, that is the evidence that we are so thankful for you. Somewhat likely 10% of us will likely recommend this to someone else. That means we've got to strengthen the folks in our networks. We got to make sure that this information is relevant to them. And will we see you in March? 10 out of 10 said yes. So that is excellent. We'd love to hear that. Let us go ahead with, I'm going to share my screen so we can check out the upcoming Q&A and a few more announcements. So just in true technology fashion, I hope you all can see my screen. Because I can't see one. Okay, we can see. All right. So Jamal, this was James, this was when you were speaking more to this blogging and social media aspect of the presentation. Jamal asked, can you speak a bit about the concept of frequency? I've heard people need to see your ad or message about 3 times on average before they can recall what they're seeing. Jennifer asked something similar. Is monthly a good cadence, or do you think it needs to be weekly? Antonia asked something also similar. How frequent should content be posted, sent across all marketing platforms? Is there a specific rotation of which platform to use to reach out to your customer? So that's a little sandwich.
Totally. Yeah. So, in terms of frequency, you're absolutely right. There is a sort of a science to, I'd say it applies to ads specifically more, but the weird thing is that you ask someone different and they'll say something different. I've heard 3, I've heard up to 7. And I think that's true for ads. That's absolutely true for ads. You need to hit them over the head with it a few times, but that's also because of the attention, right? People don't want to pay attention to ads. They're like, they're trying to either looking at their phone or skipping as fast as they can. So you kind of have to hit them multiple times. And yeah, getting that same message, that core message out about your brand should be coming through in your content. But if you're telling a story effectively or solving a problem for them efficiently and effectively, that will capture that will capture their attention so much more so than an ad will. And it may cause them to convert or interact much faster. So I would say quality can beat quantity, but there is definitely a level of quantity as well. Sorry, that wasn't a perfectly black and white answer, but that I feel like nothing in marketing is cut and dry.
Yeah, I love how you mentioned at the top of the presentation that it's not a science, it's literally an art to it. So we appreciate that transparency.
People will say there is a science to it. I disagree. Like, I've
No.
failed so many times doing everything right that I just don't believe that anymore.
And I'm sure all of us feel the same. When you said that, my heart broke a little bit. I thought about all of the failed things, but it's okay. They help us. Let's go on to our next set of questions. And hold on, how do we? Lord. All right. So this was more when we were talking about socials for sure and content. We were talking about print and copy in the beginning. This is more toward video. Shavante asked, do you suggest paying people to do your social media marketing, or is it better to do your own? Tristan asked, does it matter if you create a video on one platform, save it and share it, the same video across platforms, or should you create them separately on each platform? And Ezra asked, I think this was toward LinkedIn. This is the conversion loyalty aspect of funneling, right? So if I am not doing the right context, feel free to get off of mute and defend yourself, but I think I'm asking the right questions.
So I'll take the first two sort of in the same go. You can port over content across platforms, but I would say you won't get the most out of the platform because certain things work better on different platforms. Yes, video does work really well on Instagram and TikTok, but certain things, certain aesthetics and trends work better on TikTok because they come out faster and then they get sort of adopted by Instagram. So it's a lot of work. And so leaning into that first question, like social media it's a ton of work. And I would say if it's not your forte and you have a budget for it or, an intern, absolutely. It's a great resource to have to support you. I would just make sure that they understand who you are and understand what your brand is, really understand that so they can speak authentically about you and your brand. And even if you pay someone to produce the content for any small business, I would recommend being in it, because showing who you are and putting a face to that business is so powerful and something that big brands with millions of dollars in marketing can never actually compete with. And then the conversion loyalty aspect, I'm not totally sure where that is for, but
Ezra's still on. He is still on. Ezra?
Hey, James. It was regarding, I can't remember myself. It was so much. No, but it was more so regarding, I think just one of the avenues of marketing. It was just trying to make sure that you were speaking on the right point and I was there. So I apologize.
No, you're good. Well, here's my thing is that I would say that, we've long learned about this funnel, but the funnel is rapidly collapsing. And what was once top of funnel is now quickly becoming the same thing as the bottom of the funnel, whether you're building awareness or converting. So I know this isn't exactly a perfect way of answering this question, but in a more larger, broader sense, I think that funnel is becoming less and less important, and those ultimate goals you kind of need to capture in one go. And that's the way things are moving digitally on content and sort of, that storytelling model.
Excellent. I have one question before we close out, because I started in this creative game as a blogger, right? And I loved it. I think I still do love it a little bit, but I was under the belief that kind of blogging is kind of going out and it's not needed. So when it comes to the actual blog content on our website, is it a length kind of thing that keeps folks? Is it the topic? Because I saw you had it arranged in like a the headline and the photo, all these things. So could you just share a little bit more about the blog thing? Because folks are saying that blogging is out, but you're saying to still incorporate it.
Yeah, so I would say it's important to incorporate it largely from a search engine optimization standpoint. That's where it really pays dividends is, not everyone's going to read the blog, but it helps push you farther up when people are actively searching for you. And, that's just a great way to capture new audience organically without having to pay for it. So that's really where the strong value is. In terms of the blog itself, and for the people that do engage with it, it could be super informative and really pay dividends on them become a loyal customer. So it's a not for everyone thing, but it helps with getting traffic. And then for the people that do read that, it's great. And then I would say, really stick with one core topic and do a separate blog for a separate idea. A punchy attention grabbing headline is, not clickbaity because you don't want to annoy anyone. But to answer, I think I saw a question there, listicles work well too, if it's related to your business or what you're doing, that could be a great collaborative thing where, you're, calling out other great businesses that you love in your neighborhood, like that type of listicle works, or, health foods that, you love and that you don't see at enough stores if you're in the health space. Those types of listicles definitely work. You want it to be relevant to your brand. I would say short and sweet in terms of content. So that would be, either 300 to 500 word written thing or more of the listicle quick hit type deal. And then you could also do videos. And then, reviews as well work great. Highlighting other people's reviews. If there's an influencer who, just enjoys your content, especially without knowing people's budgets, I would never say, pay for an influencer off the bat, because the results aren't guaranteed. And I would only recommend paying for something if, you can really see a concrete return. But you can highlight influencers, just fun, interesting photos of, influencers doing something healthy, for instance. Like there's a lot of ways you can skin it, but I would say visual or short and sweet.
Also, real quick, like the thought on like leveraging trends, right? Like it seems like the algorithm is optimizing in that direction. So like, let's say the Grammys happened the other day. Is there a way for us as businesses to like leverage a concept in the Grammys and tie it back to, what we do also?
Absolutely. I think you can get wacky with it. You can get creative. Like I'll keep using the food example. You could say like what fruits, like what people's dresses at the Grammys like reminded you of foods in your store. Like there's interesting, weird ways that you can sort of relate back to almost anything that sort of highlights your personality through that trend. Yes, absolutely do jump on trends, especially TikTok, that powers a lot of engagement, but have your voice, your own personality, your sense of humor shine through in the way you jump on the trend. Don't just copy the trend because you'll just get lost in the algorithm. And it shows, it's another way for people to really get who you are and what your brand is about.
Very nice. Very fruitful. Very, I'm trying to come up with the adjectives, but all of my mind is thinking about is like marketing, marketing, marketing. But
Welcome to my
James,
life. It's never-ending chaos.
no, we appreciate you introducing us to the chaos, to the universe, the matrix that is digital marketing. We are so thankful. So please come off of mute and applaud or say thank you or whatever noises in support. We are so thankful for you, James, and your work with Shine Small. We are appreciative for the mission that you guys are pursuing or going after. It's really just it's a joy. It's a joy and a pleasure to have you in our second month of the year for our Food for Thought series. Everyone, just so you know, our Food for Thought series is the educational component of the Dinner Party NYC. This is our time to offer you resources. We're offering it to you for you to use for yourself, and of course, share with other people. Do not keep this valuable information for yourself. Tell them to sign up to our email list because there are more classes coming every month. This is a once-a-month class, so spread the news. And as we mentioned, you will be receiving the deck that was presented earlier. You will receive it as your leftovers for the end of the class. We will also be reposting this entire presentation via YouTube. So if there was something specific that he said that you wanted to just revisit, you can also do that as well. Plenty leftovers for you to keep and distribute and continue to spread the word about the Dinner Party NYC. We have some amazing things coming up this month. Next Saturday, February 25th at 1 p.m., we are hosting the Black Authors Only Bookstore. This bookshop event is your chance for you to stock up on new reads because y'all bookshelves might be getting dusty and we need to re-up on our knowledge. We need to re-up on our interests off. I know we were talking about digital, but we got to get off screen, right? We got to get off our screens and read some books. We also have a Q&A with a few Black authors to share their experience with the Black pen. We have Black-owned bookstores, Black authors selling their books, and a youth children's reading hour available at the top of the day. So plenty to take advantage of on February 25th. That is next Saturday at 1 p.m. And of course, our main event on March the 30th, the Dinner Party NYC is hosting our second annual Women's History Month event. The theme is Breaking Bread. And we encourage you to get your tickets now and not later because our early bird promotion is still live, but it will be expiring soon. And we do not want you to miss out on an opportunity to save a little bit of coin. We're excited to put on this dinner party for a second year in a row. Our panels are soon to be announced and it's going to be a good time, and more information is dropping soon. Keep up with your emails because that's where a lot of our information is coming. So with that being said, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, Lord. How do I do that? Okay, stop share. There we go. And Shavante, do you want to be bidding them adieu with a few kind words?
Y'all have a great night. Thank you for joining.
Yes, 8:30